morning, everybody. Grab your coffee. It's time for Living with Favor, where we talk about faith, abundance, vitality, overflow, and relationships. I'm Lisa Mosby, your host of Living with Favor. Thank you so much for tuning in and letting me share a bit of advice. Go. Hey, everybody. Welcome. Grab your cup of coffee. It's that time of the day. It's Living with Favor. You know, FAVOR is an acronym that stands for faith, abundance, vitality, overflow, and relationships. And I show up here every week so I get to interview and talk with people who are experts in their field, people who can shed light on challenges you might be facing in your life. So welcome to Living with Favor. I'm Lisa Mosby, your host. And today we're talking about vitality, unleashing your body's potential with my special guest, Lisa Shreck. And Lisa has I call her a fitness guru. She talks fitness all the time. She goes to special events. She's always focused on health and wealth and nutrition and mindset. And today we're debunking some of those common fitness myths that tailored programs kind of offer. You know, there's some different goals and things that we can achieve by using tailored programs. But they're also, or I shouldn't say tailored programs, fixed programs, where it's like everybody follows the same program. And what Lisa does is she looks at your situation and how you're doing and tailors a program. And so we're debunking, you know, a one size fits all and getting into how do we tailor what we need? Is it our mindset? Is it our nutrition? Is it our fitness? Is it our, I don't know. Is there something else that's missing in your life that we need to actually tailor a plan to you so that you are living that life of vitality that you've always wanted? So Lisa's trained. She holds certifications in personal training. She's a fitness guru, as I call her. I don't know if she owns that or not, but she's also a mindset coach. And part of our success is our mental attitude. You know, what are we thinking? Are we having stinking thinking? Because no matter how much work you do, how much effort you put into your health and your wellness, if you have a bad attitude about it, it's going to be way more difficult. So when we work on mindset first, when we get our mind open to the possibility of all things, we're more apt to have success. So Lisa helps people embrace movement, improve mental toughness, and get focused on crushing their goals. Welcome, Miss Lisa Shreck. Thank you so much for being with me.
Oh, thank you so much for having me, Lisa. It's a pleasure to be here. And I'm Lisa Shreck, as you said. So love fitness, always have, and very passionate about helping others just to, you know, embrace movement and be able to live their best life and feel good. You know, that's what it's all about.
Yeah. And I know you're a first grade teacher for a lot of years. I won't tell people unless you do, but, you know, going from first graders into, you know, the 40, 50, 60 plus old people or young people and working with them and their mindset and their fitness. What caused that transition? How did you make that decision to make the jump to do that? What was the passion behind this new purpose that you found?
Well, when I became a teacher, I followed in my parents' footsteps, and I very much wanted to be an educator. And I've always been passionate about educating others, so I still get to do that. And loved my teaching career of 26 years. I don't mind saying it with first graders. But I've been in fitness for even longer. So my senior year summer before college, I was lifeguarding at the pool and was asked to help with the water aerobics program. So I did. and kind of just as a sidekick, basically. And then I went to Kansas State University, where I got my degree, and attended a group fitness instructor class, and I fell in love instantly. And I went up to the instructor and I said, I want to do what you do. And so I signed up for my first certification was back in 1987, and I got certified in step aerobics. And so that was, gosh, do the math here. I haven't even added it up, but I've been teaching group fitness ever since. And I did, when I was in high school, you know, as many kids do, I suffered from an eating disorder, didn't have a good body image, some body dysmorphia, that kind of thing. And it was fitness that really helped me to get healthy in a better way and learn to embrace my body. And so it's really important for me for others to also just be confident in their skin and to just get in tune with their bodies and enjoy movement. Not only, I mean, it's to be able to function for one, but just to also feel all the benefits and get all the good feels you get from it.
Yeah. You know, that's interesting you said about get better or get fit in a better way, because sometimes can go down some challenging paths, bad food choices, starving ourselves or avoiding certain types of food. And if we're not trained in this field of knowing what the body needs to support its wellness, we can cause some damage, even though we might be losing weight. And oh my gosh, on our outside, we may be fit and we look healthy, but on the inside, we've wreaked some havoc, I'll say. So let's get into some of these fitness myths, because I think that sometimes we don't know what we don't know. And so the goal today is to take your experience in education and fitness and help people to know what they don't know. And I really want to talk about and kick this off with some of those fitness myths that people kind of encounter along this wellness journey. Where would we start? I know you have a couple of them lined up that we want to talk about.
Yes. Well, one of them that I hear a lot is women saying, as far as strength training goes, they say, well, I don't want to lift weights because I don't want to get bulky. I don't want to, have all these big muscles and look like a bodybuilder. And the thing is we really don't have the muscle makeup to do that. I mean, obviously, you see female bodybuilders and they're training in a different way and taking some supplements as well, most likely. But, it's so important for women, especially, to strength train. I mean, and you're never too old to start, because we start losing bone density and muscle mass as we age. And those are two key components to our overall health and well-being. And so strength training and providing that resistance is very important. So I do have the conversation with my clients that, they will build muscle, but that will cause them to get leaner and change their body composition so that they're healthier, and it boosts your metabolism. You feel stronger. And what person doesn't want to feel strong and be able to, carry the groceries in and lift the grandkids and run and play and, do the things you love. So that's definitely a common myth that needs debunked. We women are not going to be hulks.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
So,
Yeah, and that's a really good point, because I've noticed, even I've been moving and packing boxes, and there was a time where I could no problem lift a 53-pound box, and I was hauling boxes. I was mailing a couple of boxes, library of boxes of my dad's, and she weighed the box at the post office, and I really struggled to get in there. And she goes, "Okay, that's 53 pounds." And I thought, that doesn't sound like a lot. I feel like there was a time where I could, lift a 25-pound weight, but I was struggling, and people ask if they can help me. And I think with age, we do tend to lose our muscle. We lose some of that. I don't know if it's muscle mass or just muscle strength that we're losing. And then, being that I sit so much, I do Zoom calls, I sit for work many, many hours. I feel like that core, the core that kind of supports your entire body, has depleted a little bit just from sitting too much. So I think we do need to, I mean, I'm in 100% agreement with you on there. I need to get into those, doing some weights and start to build that strength again. I know, just even after 3 or 4 weeks now of moving boxes, I have more strength. Like what was difficult to lift a month ago is not nearly as difficult. And that happened in a short period of time, in my opinion.
yes.
What's number two? Myth number two.
Okay, let's see. Number 2 would be that since I work out, I can eat whatever I want.
We can't.
I hear that one a lot,
Yeah.
like, oh, I worked out today, so I can go ahead and have this, second
Pizza.
helping of cheesecake and pizza and this and that, and it's not going to affect my weight. But that is so untrue. You can't out exercise a poor diet. So
Yeah. Number three. I won't even comment on that one, Lisa. I'm going to whiz right by it because I'm so guilty. But
yeah.
number three, myth number three. What do we have?
Well, this particular one isn't really a myth, but something that I reflect on, and that is, like, I love fitness. I enjoy it. I get excited even after all these years. I get excited when I'm about to do a workout. I look forward to it, and there are people who just absolutely don't enjoy it, and some will learn to, because they start to feel stronger and better, and end up liking it and they find something that they really enjoy. But my sister-in-law, for example, and I'm not calling her out if she happens to watch this, she'll tell you herself, but she's like, Lisa, I know you love exercise. She's a nurse, but she, every day she's in her nurse's clothes and she packs her lunch, but she goes to the gym over her lunch break and works out only because she knows she needs to for her health. She does not get any enjoyment out of it.
Oh,
She doesn't, so something that I really work on with my clients is helping them to find ways to move that they do enjoy, because, I take for granted that I enjoy it, but not everybody does.
yeah. I don't enjoy working out. I don't enjoy going to the gym, but you take me out to a live band where there's music playing and I will dance for 3 hours and get my cardio in, like, and not need to leave the floor and drink 2 pitchers of water. I can get my water in, I can get my aerobic in. So for me, fitness always has to have music. I need to have something that my brain can focus on and then my body can do the work. I'm 100% in agreement with you on that. Or even bike riding, like bike riding outside, but not a stationary bike where I get to see the trees and see the clouds and see what's happening, and riding the same path every day, you get to see the changes of it. So there's so many ways to get fitness in that can be enjoyable. I love that that's your primary focus. And I know that you kind of walk people through that process. What does it look like? Do you enjoy doing the weights? Do you enjoy being outside? Where do you want to do your workout? And I think that's so brilliant as a personal trainer that you meet your client where they're at. What can they do? What can they focus on? What's going to keep them going for the long term, rather than this is a one and done. I'm going to reach my goal weight and then stop and put all that weight back on. Or, I'm going to get to that cardiovascular level, or I'm going to get my blood sugar in line, whatever it is that folks are working on. It's not always related to weight loss, but health management is really, wellness is what your primary focus is. And then
Yes.
you have one more for us today. What was the fourth one?
That would be that once a person's injured, sometimes they think that, they can no longer exercise, or they will no longer be able to build strength, get stronger, and get their range of motion back and things like that. And that is also a myth. And every situation is different, but
Yeah.
but you can heal. It's important to heal and rest and work with your doctors, et cetera. And they always have to have clearance before they come see me. But I've seen people that have had knee replacements, hip replacements, and they do get strong again. They do get their range of motion back. In some cases, even better than before. So the worst thing you can do is stop moving.
Yeah.
So
No more excuses. We've taken them all away. There's no more excuses. I want to get into how you develop fitness plans, goals, talk a little bit about that. But first, we skipped over one of these, and that was the nutrition piece of it. That when you work out, you can eat anything that you want. And you said you can never outwork a bad diet, or outwork out, or I don't even know how you said it, but it was that statement kind of resonates with me, in
yes.
that we need to get a handle on the food. We need to get a handle on the nutrition. So what role does nutrition play in achieving our fitness goals, and what dietary advice can you give to some of the folks listening today? Where should they start?
Well, first of all, nutrition is like plays a huge role in it. We have to fuel our bodies. And you think about a car without gas, and when it's getting low on gas, how it performs. And we're the same way. We've got to fuel our body and fuel it with the right things. And so I have studied some nutrition, in my training, but I'm not a certified nutritionist. And so I don't go out of my scope of practice, but I have, I work with a holistic nutritionist, and I'm on a panel that's got professionals and experts in that field that I can, refer people to, et cetera. But something that I do is, for example, in some of my group programs, we will just focus on one good habit for the week. And sometimes people, if they haven't ever done meal planning or meal prepping, or they don't know anything about nutrition, it's very overwhelming. And so we will do just one thing, like add greens to your smoothies. And this is assuming they're having smoothies, but we've talked about that by then. But add green to your smoothies, and that's all we do. We just add greens to the smoothies that week. And those smoothies I encourage protein shakes. That's a great post-recovery thing to do. We've got to, when we're breaking down muscle tissue, we need to replace that. So And then our second week might be just adding to our water intake, and making sure we're staying hydrated. You have to be hydrated in order to burn calories and build muscle and everything. So that's really important. And then we have a week where we just swap out kind of the refined sugars and bad carbs for better ones. And then when I was on this panel with Adita Lang, she's an expert in the field and she's an author of nutrition, but she and the rest of us helped develop this pantry cleanup, and it was really a lot of fun. And just for example, the first thing everybody did was went into their pantry and they read the ingredients, and any ingredient that if they couldn't read one ingredient on the box, it went out.
Oh,
That was the first one. So, but so I'll do simple things like that.
yeah.
And then, I can refer them to nutritionists if they want to get deeper into it.
Yeah. But I love the baby steps. It's like we don't have to eat the whole elephant. We can eat it one bite at a time. Just make it simple, because this doesn't have to be complicated. It doesn't have to be drudgery. There doesn't have to be, a dislike of anything. We can actually figure out ways to tailor it to ourselves, which is where I'm going next. How do you tailor fitness programs for individuals with different goals, such as, and I'm going to lead with weight loss, because that seems to be prevalent in so many of our minds. It's all over the TV. It's a multi-billion-dollar industry. We're inundated with ads and things about what is the optimal weight? Where should our weight be? How do we lose weight? So how do you address that? Is it always about weight loss, or sometimes is it about muscle gain or improving overall health? What efforts do you go through to help tailor programs for your clients?
So if someone comes to me and their main goal is weight loss, we have a consult, we have a conversation, and I want to get to know them better and get to know what their goals are and also kind of their reasons. And I really try to stress to people, if it's just like, well, I've got this wedding dress, I've got, I'm in a wedding and I've got to get into this dress by such and such date. I know we hear that a lot,
Yeah.
but we have to think of it as a lifestyle change and not just this temporary fix. And then I'm going to go right back to the poor eating habits, et cetera, because then we'll just gain the weight back, sometimes gain more back, et cetera. So that's one of the things. And then I do baseline assessments. And if it's weight loss, I do take measurements and body composition, and we have the conversation about, it's not always the number on the scale. You have to look at a lot of different factors. It's also that lean to fat ratio. And when we carry a lot of fat tissue around our organs, that's, can lead to disease and things
Yeah.
like that. So it's really important to have that a leaner and a better body composition. And so one of the things that I would have that client do is just to journal for a week everything that they eat. And that research shows that just by writing it down, you're already more conscious of it, so you tend to do better. But then I might take that to one of my nutrition friends and get their expertise on it and share. And then this one's kind of an interesting one, but I've had a couple of people try it and it works. And that is, if you've never just stood in front of a mirror, I know this sounds kind of weird, just stand in front of a mirror naked, just you, and for 15 minutes, and you just look at yourself. And basically the idea is that you need to get comfortable with your body for one, and then you start to notice things that you really like and notice some things that you're not as comfortable with. And just that, it's like your subconscious mind kind of goes to work, and then you make better choices, So that's something else that I've tried. But as far as the exercise portion of it, if someone has weight loss as a goal, we do a lot of HIIT training. So they definitely do strength training, they do cardio and like interval training type of stuff. One thing about when you are strength training, sometimes the weight on the scale might temporarily go up because muscle weighs more than fat, and that can freak some people out. But I have, just as an example, I weighed 15 pounds more at a certain point in my life and I was in like 2 or 3 sizes smaller, So your body changes, but the weight on the scale might not show that. So
Yeah, it's the measurements is just as important as the number on the scale. It's just data. It's like we're looking at data. What is the I love that you say the word composition, and you repeat it over and over. Composition, composition. Do we have excess adipose fat around our organs? Do we, what is the composition of our body and how much muscle mass do we have? And is that muscle mass able to produce? Can you lift up 53-pound boxes or even 25-pound boxes? Can you reach the cereal box on the top shelf without hurting yourself? It's the composition of the body, not the weight, not how much you weigh that matters. It's how you use the body and the muscle that you have in it. So creating a program that meets people where they are and gets them to where they need to be optimally, I think is just such a huge benefit. Share some tips that you use to keep people motivated and help them to be consistent with their fitness routines. Because I think it's hard for a lot of people. We may start at, January 1st with our New Year's resolution, but I think February 18th, I think they call is quit day. Like the majority of the people statistically are done with their New Year's resolution by that February 18th day, I think it is. But whether that's the right day or not, by the end of February, it doesn't last long when people make resolutions. So how do you keep people motivated to be consistent and to stick with it? Find something that they love doing that they won't quit or that they miss if they do and just have this burning desire to get back to.
Yes. Well, I'm glad you said the word consistent because that is really key. And just the consistency and making the commitment also for your health and for your well-being. And so, everybody starts off, I'm going to do this thing. And then, like you said, they fall off track a little bit. And then before you know it, they're not exercising. So a few things that I do is, for one, once they've made the commitment, I say, you need to schedule it. If you don't schedule it, it may not happen. So, we put it into their schedule and they decide when they're going to do it. And everybody's a little different. There's morning workout people, I'm not one of the 5 a.m.ers anymore, but, and then there's evening people, some people work out better in the evening or over their lunch hour, but scheduling it's huge. And a couple tips there is you can have your gym clothes and gym bag set out so that you see it. If you're driving home from work, I have a few clients that like to take their gym bag along, they change at work and they go straight to the gym because they know if they go home, then they're going to get distracted and it may not happen. That's one reason that a morning workout is a good idea, because then you've got it in. And if something comes up later in the day, you've got your workout in. I will say real quick, a little off the subject, but so American Heart Association wants us moving, 30 minutes a day, exercising 30 minutes a day. And if you had a choice between a 30-minute workout and then you're going to be sedentary the rest of the day, or doing little bits of movement throughout the day, like taking the stairs, parking further away in the parking lot, standing up and stretching, from your sitting job, etc., that would actually be just as, if not more beneficial. So just doing the workout and then, being still and sedentary the rest of the day is not optimal. You want to be active throughout your day, but you do still, getting that 30-minute workout in that's targeted for things that you need is very important. Accountability partner, find someone that you can, workout buddy, or at least someone that knows you're on this mission to do it and you can cheer each other on. And a family member is great. You can be good examples for your kids or your spouse, but I think it's good also to have someone outside the home that can check in with you. And then finding something that you enjoy, and understanding that it's a lifestyle change. And, we all have those days. And if you fall off the wagon for a day, it doesn't mean the whole thing's sabotaged. You just get back up the next morning and you decide, I'm going to move that day. So just 1% better every day. And sometimes, with fitness, especially, it takes a while to actually physically see it. But when you start to feel better, when you start to have more energy, you sleep better, you'll start to notice a glow in your skin, and, things are easier to lift when all of those things, you go up a flight of stairs and you're not, gasping for air. When things start to happen, then I think that motivates people to keep going.
Yeah. I use an iWatch. You've got Fitbit, Garmin, iWatch, all those different devices, and they kind of go off, and it reminds me, hey, you can still make it standing up and moving for your 12th. It wants you to get up 12 times. You can't sit for long periods of time. It notifies me, or it lets me know when I've reached my step goal. And I think that helps. For me, that's a big part of accountability because I'm getting it every hour to stand up and move. So depending on what your lifestyle is, even if you're retired and you're sitting on the couch watching TV, or watching a show, having that little helpful reminders like go get something out of it, go get a glass of water so that you get up and move. Yeah, rather than being
Right now for a
stagnant.
moment, Lisa, would you mind?
Yeah, yeah, go ahead.
Do that for a minute? We can see.
Oh, no, I'm not going to stand up in front of
You're
the
not gonna
camera,
see
but you
it?
can.
Yeah, even, yeah, just sitting on Zooms. A lot of us are on Zooms and do the
Yeah,
virtual.
I'll
So,
move.
yeah,
I'll move. I'll
yeah,
move.
a little bit. Yep. And then a morning routine too. I teach my clients a morning routine that just takes 9 minutes, and involves breathing. And so you have breath and you have gratitude and goals. And so that just starts their day off, really well. And it's short and user friendly. So, 9 minutes or less, because a lot of times a morning routine, if it's like an hour long, then people start to just, oh, I
Oh,
don't have
dude.
time for that. And they don't do it at all.
Yeah, yeah,
So
very much.
you feel a little better.
What are Yeah, yeah. I do stretching right away when I get up. It just feels so good to get the circulation going, do yoga or some sort of stretching. Uh, and
Yes.
I find that I actually need to bring that into practice at night before going to bed, just stretching out, getting the blood flowing and laying down, or, I do meditate before bed, and that's it's kind of laying, but adding that stretching piece of it, I think helps because we hold ourselves stagnant so much, or we're sitting in front of a screen. Like if I stand up, then my green screen will be all messed up. And so there's this, you're isolated so much in what you're doing, and that stretching just kind of helps to lengthen and pull things out. And I have a yoga mat in my room, and I have the bands and I have the blocks. So I use them in the morning, but I don't use them before going to bed. And I think that there would be equally as much benefit of doing that before bed and just kind of loosening things up before you crawl in and stay in that stagnant position again while you're sleeping.
For sure. Yes, I
Yeah.
work with some older adults who our main focus is mobility. And that's something that, when we lose our mobility, that's so important. And so I've worked with some men who used to bodybuild, and now they are suffering. They've got injuries and they are stiff and tight and can't move. And so um one gentleman, I said, our training is going to look a lot different than probably what you're used to. And I said, take off your shoes. And and the first thing we did was worked with a therapy ball and did myofascial release on the bottoms of his feet, and we did range of motion things with his shoulder. And it's very, very important to keep that mobility piece and stretching, like you said, flexibility.
Yeah, we oftentimes think of a fitness vitality about weightlifting and a cardiovascular, doing that aerobic stuff, but there's more to it. There's that flexibility piece and range of motion, those things that you just mentioned. It's a culmination of a lot of different things. Vitality comes from so many different areas. And again, we don't know what we don't know. If we haven't trained in this, we may not know about some of these things. So getting with somebody who's a coach or a mentor or somebody who studies fitness and having them just take a look at your lifestyle, your health, your level of wellness, your strength, your cardio capacity, all of those different pieces, getting an assessment done. It's not going to hurt you. If anything, it's just going to give you more data, more information, food for thought. And then from there, decide what is it that I want to do with this data? What do I want to do with this to make sure that I'm living my optimum body at my optimum weight in my optimum health for the age that I'm at today? So I would encourage you, move in that direction. I hope you're getting some takeaways from this information. There's one last area I want to go before we wrap this up, and that's mental health. What are your thoughts on the impact of mental health wellness, and on physical fitness? How do they tie together? How can exercise improve our mental wellness? What do you think of that?
Well, the mind and body are very much connected, and our mental fitness is just as important as our physical fitness. So benefits that we get from exercise is it's a mood booster, it's a stress reliever, and it gets the good endorphins going. We get that release of all those, the good feels. And so plus when you are taking care of your body and your mind, you start to develop more confidence, and you just approach life differently. And like, for example, when we talked about the weight loss part, many times, and it's just not for the weight loss clients, but I will incorporate mind power, and we'll do a mind power coach and fitness training with it, because a lot of that is mental too. Some people don't have a good relationship with food, or they have other mental issues to address, if you will. And so getting in tune with our bodies and spending time meditating, and also relaxing and laughing, doing some fun things, it's all this. Well, this whole idea of wellness is just like you said, it's got many parts that make it work together to really live our best life, and that's our goal.
Yeah. Are there any trends or innovations in the fitness interest industry that you're excited about, that that are coming, that we want to tell folks to kind of keep an eye out for?
Well, since the pandemic and everything, when virtual things took off, um, then out came some exciting things are happening in the way of apps. And what I like about the ones I'm seeing coming up, and I'm thinking about utilizing one of them, but it's not just, and I'm not dogging the ones. If anybody, you can go on YouTube and do, pick a workout and do that. But some of these apps, you actually get more contact and more personalization with your trainer, but it also is, very convenient, and you have different things to choose from, and it's really a win-win for the trainer and the client. But I love the piece that we can still go on live. We still connect with the client and all. So I think that's exciting, because a lot of people are on the go and they don't get to a gym, or they, whatever the case may be. And so if they can have it just right at their fingertips, that's awesome. But I think that personal touch is really important.
Yeah, I've been using an app for quite some time and I love it. I can go to the park with my yoga mat. I can get, do it in my bedroom, living room. It doesn't matter. And yeah, they're right there. And it tracks. It tells me how many minutes I'm doing every week. Even I can pick different intensity of workouts that are pre-recorded. You can do live, as you mentioned, and actually be there with a personal trainer. So yeah, they're a great resource. I love that. And then of course, you're a resource for people. How do people get in touch with you, Lisa? If people want to deepen their conversation, get an assessment, or maybe talk about what it would look like for themselves to have a customized plan for them. How do they reach you?
Sure. My website is www.lisashreckfit4u.com. So it's all lowercase Lisa Shreck, FIT, the number 4, the letter U.com. My email is lisashreckfit4u@gmail.com. I also have a Calendly, but I do give free consults. And so I'll just sit and visit with you, get to know you, get to know what your goals are. And then we kind of go from there. I'm trying to think if there's anything else. My company is Fit for You, Mind Power, Movement, and Motivation. And my slogan is to think strong, move smart, and live long.
Oh, I like that. Say that again. Think strong,
Strong, move smart,
look
and live
smart,
long.
and live long. Beautiful. And we'll have all that information for you in the show notes on our YouTube channel. If you cannot find Lisa for some reason, please reach out to me and I will definitely make the connection, make the introduction for you. I hope there was a lot of information, or at least one tidbit of information that you took away from today. Many of the folks that watch this show are entrepreneurs themselves. They have their own businesses. And we know when our business is ailing and failing. We know when our body is ailing and failing. And so there are resources available to us. And that's what we're all about here. What Living with Favor is about is getting you connected to where you need assistance where you are facing challenges, giving you the resources and the people to talk to about meeting those challenges. And that's one of the things that I can do for you with your business. If you are looking to expand your brand on social media, please reach out and schedule time with me. You can go to lisamosby.com, and that's Lisa, MOSBEY.com, and book 30 minutes again with me to talk about your business and expanding your brand using social media strategies. Come on back next week. I'd let you know what we're doing, but I am not sure who our guest is next week. We have not scheduled anybody, but maybe we'll do a pop-up training and talk about more in depth about something in the area of vitality and fitness. You'll have to come back to see what it is that we're talking about. Thank you so much to my guest, Lisa Shreck. It was beautiful and great information. And folks, we will see you next week. I hope you all come back. Thanks for being with us today.